The men on the screen in front of you were members of a secret Russian sabotage group who were recently identified and eliminated by Ukraine. Until now, they've operated in the shadows, a murky, faceless organization terrorizing Ukrainian civilians. So today we're going to take a look at the incredible open source investigation that brought them down and speak to the man who led that operation.
Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest Ukrainian operations of last 12 months. It was not so public because I think before this was no connection between Senezh and this killing of the civilians, but later probably when there are more guys from Senezh will be killed and there will be published amount of the civilians they killed, it will be like a huge point.
Now, Senezh is an elite Russian special operations unit that focuses on intelligence gathering and sabotage. Intelligence gathering includes penetrating Ukrainian lines to gather information about the strength and location of their defenses and identifying high priority targets for drone or missile strikes. In terms of sabotage, Senezh destroys Ukrainian infrastructure and conducts psychological operations designed to intimidate the local population or soldiers in the area. These psyops have often taken the form of killing or abducting civilians and soldiers, specifically in the border region. Now, in March of 1999, the 322nd GRU Training Center, military base 92154, was established in the Moscow region, which later became known as the Senezh Special Forces Center. Now, Senezh has been utilized in Syria for some time now, but more recently, they were deployed to the Kharkiv and Sumy border regions of Ukraine due to the increased partisan activity in the area.
The reason we analyzing this because they are killing civilian, and it's I think it's really bad because Russia is so proud of its own army and its special purpose unit, and they're killing civilian, and it's look strange for me because they should like special purpose units should kill military guys or other special purpose units or terrorists, but not civilians.
Ukrainians living along the border with Russia have to be constantly on guard for sabotage and reconnaissance groups crossing into Ukraine. Now, given the secretive nature of Senezh, they don't have much of a public presence at all and don't advertise their activities. It's hard to pin them down as the responsible party for certain events. However, there are countless examples over the past few years that meet the Senezh mission set, and they're happening in areas where Senezh is known to have been deployed. Starting out, we have Valentina Andrushko, whose name has been changed for security reasons, who lost her husband on January 10, 2024, during one of these suspected Senezh attacks in Chernihiv, just across the border from Russia. She said, quote, "He drove to take our son to the hospital. It was early and still dark. I was waiting for him to return, but he didn't. His phone was not answering, and there was shelling outside. I knew something terrible had happened before it was even confirmed. His car was completely shot up. There was not a single living thing left on it. So a civilian vehicle ambushed in Ukraine at close range, nothing taken, no military value, essentially a terror attack of sorts. There are stories of milk delivery trucks being shot up as though it drove through an ambush, again, inside of Ukraine. Power company vehicles hit with short-range FPV drones, killing the employees inside, and random civilian vehicles shot up with machine guns for no apparent reason. So the problem here was known, but again, this group, Senezh, was highly specialized and very secretive.
There was like a special like unit in Ukrainian intelligence and military who was like targeting basically and focusing on the Senezh, and they was looking for them for like I think more than 1 year.
So, to assist in their targeting, Ukrainian intelligence turned to the private sector, where they asked Artem and his team at Molfar to help identify the soldiers of Senezh. Molfar actually has some experience here, having previously published the names of pilots from the Engels 2 Air Base who regularly fire missiles into Ukraine, the names of Russian intelligence officers, the identities of those involved with Lancet drone manufacturing, and quite a bit more. Seriously, it's impressive work, and they've got a long rundown on their website of all of these different projects they've taken part in. Now, turning to the actual hunt of these Russian soldiers, here's Artem explaining the step-by-step investigative work.
Yeah, we basically started just Googling Senezh military and so on, and we found some articles. I think this was some fancy stuff when they've got medals for their operation, and there was like a number of the military unit, as I told you before, 92154, and we have access to Russian databases. And inside these databases, we have data from the Russian government tax office. And basically, we could like put this military number unit, and we could find like all the employees who they paid money. And it was like the biggest and easiest part of investigation, because using this we was able to find like around 100 guys, like the half of their unit from the salary data. And then we was just able, we have their names, date of birth, they where, which cities they was born, and it was easy to proceed later. Basically we found around 10 guys from the social networks, like in the friends of the guys we know before, photos, common photos, and so on. uh, and also we found a bit more articles in the media where they've got medals and so on. And also we have a source who could do a phishing, and they targeted these guys from Senezh and was able to get some photos when they was like, I don't know where they was located, but I think it was some military things when they like around 30 guys of them made the photo together in the military uniform and so on. And we analyzed their face, and we was doing like research by face and found like more guys.
Then after they had some of these members identified, they passed that information to Ukrainian intelligence.
And if they know who they are, and they also know, for example, their phone numbers, photos, and so on. And also they used some hardware and software to understand on which time and which day they will be crossing the Ukrainian border. And knowing this, it's not really hard to put Ukrainian soldiers in the place while they will arrive.
So let's take a look at the results. Telegram post from Yuri Butasov said, quote, the bodies of 5 Russian saboteurs killed on July 28th in a battle in the Chernihiv region by a reconnaissance group of the Pivnich Special Operations Forces. Quote, according to Russian sources, on July 28th of this year, a group of specialists from the 322nd Special Operations Center, Senezh, were ambushed, and they go on to list the dead. Now, we are going to go into details of those eliminated here in a minute, but this investigation wasn't just about killing members of Senezh. It was also about sending a message to Russia that even the most secretive organizations can be infiltrated and held responsible for their actions.
The main feeling about this investigation, and I think these guys should be published, and the world should know their names. And I think in the future, when there will be some legal proceedings, for example, in The Hague.
All right, so let's dive into some of those details of the Molfar investigation. Of course, Molfar published the names and pictures of those killed, along with the names of their relatives, professional experience, personal interest, and even outstanding debt. It's a pretty detailed rundown. First off, we have call sign Ruben. They say he was a captain and the deputy group commander, an employee of the 1st Directorate Special Operations of the 322nd Center for Special Operations of the Russian Armed Forces, otherwise known as Military Unit 92154. We have call sign Raptor. They say is a rank of major, listed as a senior department specialist. We have call sign Soldier, a captain who studied at the Ryazan Higher Airborne Command Center, and then call sign Gunner and call sign Val. Now, while these 5 were eliminated, the hunt for Senezh continues, and Ukraine now has the identities of at least 200 of their members. So stay tuned. There might be more results to share on this front before too awful long. Now, all the details of this investigation are in a recent article published by Molfar. You can find a link to that article in the description below. And thank you to the Molfar team and Artem for their help with this video, providing background information and making themselves available for an interview. Again, hopefully a few more people today know about Senezh, who they are, and what they've done. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.